Yo, what's going on? What's going on? It's your boy, Pastor Ron. Welcome to my podcast, Game Day Gospel. As we sit back and we um, recap this weekend in the NFL to see what's going on, see what's happening. As we look over our local team, my personal team in the Giants, and we look back at how they performed this week and a review of that. So we wanted to wait till the Monday Night Football since the Jets were playing. That's supposed to be a big game. And now that all the games are in, it is a chance for us to recap. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for all that you're doing. I thank you for just constantly just being there and sharing and posting, retweeting. It means a lot, man. It really, really does to get this out, to get this forward, and to allow this to grow. Amen. So, and I hope everybody's doing well, man. It's crazy out there. There's a lot going on in this world. And keep your eyes on God. Don't allow yourself to be distracted or be discouraged. Ultimately, God is in control. So I want you to keep your heads up, man, and keep focused on him. So as we talk about this weekend in American football in the NFL, we talk about my team, the New York Giants. The review of the New York Giants is that they suck. That is the review. That is the review of the football Giants. They are trash. Basura. Caca. I don't know how else you want to put it. This is the review. This is the update on my team. They're trash. I don't know what else to say, how else to put it, how else to share with you the outcome, but the Giants are not good. They're not a good team. They're a loser franchise. They're the Texans. They're the Panthers, like a franchise of losers. Like, you know, they are who the Cleveland Browns used to be, where you just expect them to lose every single year. We're going through almost 10 years now of consistent losing, and we have to look at ourselves as Giants fans and admit to the fact we support a loser franchise. Ever since Mara took over, the Giants have been an unsuccessful franchise. And this weekend, I think, may have been the bottom of the bottom. Yeah, I know the Raiders have a new coach bump, as they say, but 30-6, we were out the game off the rip. And you had these guys smoking cigars in the locker room afterwards. Such disrespect. Like, they spliffed us. They put us in a spliff and smoked us. So they smoked a spliff in the locker room and on the field because our team, again, did not show up. Like, what is going on here? I could not. I tried the first quarter to see how Daniel Jones, because I said last week this was Daniel Jones' biggest start of his career. And he started, and he was trash. Daniel Jones was trash. There is no if and buts. There's no way for us to sit here and say, you know, let's figure out what Daniel Jones is. Daniel Jones is crap. And yes, I don't want to try to pile on a guy. He's hurt. He's out for the season with a torn ACL. He went out there, try to fight, try to be there, but ultimately, at the end of the day, he was who he was. He didn't play well. Even before he left, before he sat there and got injured, he didn't do well. I think he was like 2 for 6, 2 for 9, and like 13. Like, he didn't do well. Like, so we can't sit here and talk about, you know, again, I'm not trying to pile down on a guy. I don't want to get hurt. But I also want to realize that he's not a good QB. 4 for 9 for 25 yards. 4 for 9 for 25 yards and got sacked twice. That's the guy. That's the guy. That's the guy that I'm supposed to believe was a $40 million quarterback. And I don't want to be right. Like, I sit here and I want to be wrong about these guys. I sit here and want to sit here and be like, you know what? Nah, this team is good. And I judged Daniel Jones wrong, but I knew this in the offseason. I said, let the guy go. Pursue Daniel Carr, every guy a car named Dak Carr. I don't know the guy name, whatever it is, the Carr guy in New Orleans, Derek Carr, whatever that guy in New Orleans. Pursue that guy. Pursue Mike White. I said Mike White was the best QB before Aaron Rodgers got here. Mike White, the backup QB at the time for the Jets. I said he's the best QB in New York. Sign that guy for cheap. Just cut your losses with Daniel Jones. He and the $40 million that he was looking for, nobody was going to offer that to him. So he had to say, good luck. Go find where would he have gone? Who wants that guy? Everybody in the league knows he's trash except our team. So we sit here and we have this guy now out for the season. So and I don't want to say, again, a guy's health is important, but now what's going to be the narrative? Hey, the jury's still out on Daniel Jones. Is he a good QB? His season got cut short before we got a chance to realize what kind of QB he was. Is that going to be a reason to bring him back and not draft a QB in the draft and go after one of the top guys like Penix or Williams or May? Is that where we're going to be? That's the question. I'm afraid that Daniel Jones is going to be our starting QB next year, and we're not going to draft a QB. If I know John Mara well, he is not going to sit here and draft a QB, especially a black one. He is not going to do it. Now he wants that leave it to Beaver, clean cut, no controversy, tough guy QB like Eli Manning. And I think that's really why they're affording Daniel Jones so many opportunities, because he looks the part. He looks like the QB, no tattoos, very just, hey, says all the right things, boring interviews. Like, he sounds and looks just like Eli Manning. He's Eli Manning 2.0 outside of the results. So that is our situation around the league. Outside of that, in terms of the big games, the Cowboys and Eagles had a really, really good game. I'm so happy to see a game that is hyped up to actually be a good game. Too often in football and in other sports, you see like, this is the game of the week. This is going to be the Super Bowl, and it's a blowout. I love to see a close game and a good game, and it was a great game. A game back and forth. Dak Prescott showed up. But let's temper that Dak is the man type narrative, because this is Dak. He has the ability, the first 14 minutes of a quarter to do well, but it's that last minute. It's that making that play to win his game. He'll do enough to get his team there, but he does not have enough to get his team over the hump. So in true Dak fashion, had great numbers, a great performance, but then at the end, it did not result in a victory. When his team needed him the most to make a play, it did not work, because the biggest play, what cost them that game, as they were driving, they had the Eagles in disarray. The biggest play in that game that cost the Dallas Cowboys the game was the fact that he took that sack. You can't take a sack there. After a couple of seconds, your timer has to be quick. I'm getting out the pocket or I'm throwing the ball away. You cannot take a sack there. He took a sack there, lost a yardage. The clock ran out. So, that's Dak being Dak. The same thing happened to him against, was it Green Bay? No, San Fran. When he sat there and did everything and got to the point where he didn't get a chance to spike the ball. So, Dak is he is who we thought he was. The Eagles right now is the best team in the NFL. That pains me to say, because I hate the Eagles fan, and living in the Philadelphia area, I hate them even more. And Jalen Hurts, the thing with the Eagles, and it hit me this week, is the fact that the Eagles are never unprepared. They're the most prepared team in the NFL, and being prepared and knowing your opponent, knowing yourself, situational awareness. They're constantly being prepared for their week or for their game. They never lose a game. They only get beat. The team was either better or out executed, but there was never a thing where they came in the game and seemed to be not prepared for their game. And this is why they win all these close games, because that preparation it gives you an extra touchdown. That preparation gives you great situational awareness and allows you to be at a place where you are sitting here and you're ready to execute in these close games. Like Jalen Hurts is not the best QB. I can't respect your QB who cannot take a snap under center outside of the brotherly shelf. I can't. He's not a good QB. No. I'm not saying he's not a great QB. He's a good QB. He's a system QB. Any other system, he wouldn't be playing this well. Nonetheless, he still executes the plan. But they're Nick Sirianni, and I hate that little punk, smug coach. I just arrogant. I can't stand that. I hate that guy. But the one thing to give him credit for, he prepares his team. They are always prepared to play, to make the right call. 4th and 1, I know what to do. There's no confusion, no wasting of timeouts. They are always prepared and know what to do. And that is what allows them to win so many games. That is what allows them to win so many close games. But I think we're going to know more about the Eagles after their bye week. They play 4 games. They play the Chiefs, Bills, San Fran, and I believe the Cowboys again. If they come out those games 3-1, even 2-2, they're gonna be okay, depending on which games they lose, because they still had to play the Giants twice, including the Christmas Day game, which I'm going to thanks to my church. They got to play the Giants, and those are 2 wins. So right now they're 8-1. So in actuality, they're 10-1 because they still got 2 games to play against the trash Giants. And the Cowboys are playing the Giants, which is another easy win. So that's 1 victory. So this next 4, I think it could be 5. I think after that they played the Seahawks in Seattle. Those 5 games are going to tell you how good this team is. I don't think they survive. I think they get exposed. Their secondary is porous at best. And I think what happened last year was the pass rush covered their bad secondary. The reason why the folks had to rush and they were constantly getting sacked covered up the fact that there were so many people open in the secondary. And now whenever a team gets time against them, they cut them up. I don't care if Slay, Bradbury, all these guys, they get cut. The linebackers are trash. These teams don't invest in linebackers. But the Cowboys sat here and played a good game, but we don't have a league of moral victories. You lost. And especially you had a way to win the game. That last catch by CeeDee Lamb, why wasn't anyone there for a lateral play? It appears that he caught the ball short, and the plan was for somebody to circle around, for him to pass it back, and for them to run into the end zone in the opposite direction. If you look at the play, it was open because the entire secondary ran to him. If someone ran from the opposite direction, so to his right, towards his left, he tosses that ball back. That person's in the end zone, game over, touchdown. But again, that's the thing about the Eagles. The Eagles are prepared. They make those plays. Mike McCarthy does not make those plays. The Eagles know how to manage the clock. They don't take any dumb timeouts. They're prepared. So I think they're 8-1, man. It's 8-1. So right now they're the best team in the NFL. They're the number 1 team in the NFL. Another big game was Miami and KC. That was another game I wanted to see. I hate the fact that it was in Germany. I don't know if it played, the whole jet lag played a factor. For some reason, Miami thought I think it was Miami. One of the teams, I think it was KC who decided to fly in on Friday. And then Miami was there for the entire week. So I don't know if that had any factor. Tua threw only for 193. Tyreek Hill 62. Even Mahomes and them didn't really do crazy. It was a big defensive struggle. So I don't know if that played a factor. But I hate the fact that such a pivotal game was played overseas. That's a bad call by the NFL and bad case of foresight. But I listen, 3 teams this week that you want to call frauds. Miami Dolphins, Buffalo Bills, who I'm going to talk about in a little bit, and the Seattle Seahawks. Those 3 teams are the biggest frauds in the NFL. They sit here and they beat up on the bad teams, but in the big games, they don't show up. And I think Miami is looking like one of those teams that could be the frauds. And the crazy part about it is the AFC East is wide open because 2 of those frauds are in the AFC. Like Miami needs a big win, man. They gotta defeat a good team. Like that's the book on them. It's easy to throw 70 on the Broncos, but how do you go against the Eagles? How do you go against KC? And every single time they play these games, they say this is a litmus test, and they come up small. Same thing with the Buffalo Bills. I think the Buffalo Bills team that you see right now will not be the same team come next year. They're gonna either get to the playoffs, fall short of the playoffs, like a wild card team, and one and done. But their window has shut. Their window is closed, and right now they're at a place where there are gonna be some changes. I might want to sit here and call for folks to get fired, but I think they might have to fire the coach. Not saying he's a bad coach, McDermott, but they may need a new voice and new direction, because you're not going to fire Josh Allen. He's making all that money. He's that franchise QB. You're probably going to lose to Stephon Diggs, but their window is as closed, and they're trending downward, while other teams are trending upward. They're in second place in the AFC East. Miami's in first, a game ahead of the Jets, or half game ahead of the Jets. That's a bad John, bro. Like, that's not a good spot for you to be in. And for a team that claims to be a Super Bowl team, for them to be struggling this way, they need to figure things out. But again, I think watching them, it was no issue, no worry about this at all. That game was calm for them, for Cincy. They knew when they had to put their feet down, they could put their feet down and get a dub. So interesting to see how that goes. But I think that the Buffalo Bills window is shut. If they don't, unless they do something crazy, they're Buffalo. They lost a lot of guys. They had their chance against KC a couple years ago. They lost it, but now they're making it to a Super Bowl. Josh Allen, I don't think is 100%. That bothers me because he's on my fantasy squad. But there's something missing with that team where it's like, been there, done that. You're not winning. To the contrary, the Cincinnati Bengals, which is my adopted team for the NFL, I think they're back. They're gonna mess around and win the Super Bowl. You may see a San Fran Cincy Super Bowl. You may see a Cincinnati Eagles Super Bowl, because Joe Burrow is healthy, dropped 348. That defense, my guy Pratt, for two straight games, he had a big late turnover against to help his team. Their defense is underrated, but their defense is playing really, really well. So I think Cincinnati, which had another big litmus test, a big game with Buffalo, and they slapped them. 24-18 does not, which is the final score, does not show how close that game was. Cincinnati dominated that game. It was never that close, never in doubt. So I think it's crazy, man. I think it's crazy to see how they just hit the switch when this guy got healthy, and they're playing well. I think outside of Mahomes, Joe Burrow is the best QB, and I'm gonna keep it a bean. Right now, those two guys are in a room by themselves. Like, it's just them two, and afterwards you have the Jalen Hurts, the Josh Allens, the I'm not a fan of Lamar Jackson. I support him because he's your brother, man. He wants their brothers to get paid, and you want to talk bad about a black QB. I'm not a fan of Lamar Jackson. He threw for 187. He's in a run first offense. I was never a big fan of him as a QB. That's just me. He's not a top guy. Tua, I want to say Tua's in there, but again, Tua needs a signature performance, a signature win, to be consistent. Let's pump the brakes on Justin Herbert as making a GOAT conversation. I think it's coaching, because he has a talent. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt of coaching, but either way, he has not performed. So right now, the GOAT conversation when it comes to QBs are two guys, Joe Burrow Joe Burrow and Mahomes. That's it. It's just them two. Jalen Hurts is not there yet. I'll tell you how I feel about him. Lamar Jackson is not it to me. Josh Allen is overrated. Justin Herbert is overrated. You know, and it's scary. There aren't that many QBs. If we go down the list, Tennessee has Will Levis, Pittsburgh, Cody Pickett. Ugh. Miami and KC got Tua and Mahomes. Okay. Minnesota had Kirk Cousins. I'm a Kirk Cousins fan, but he's not playing. Josh Dobbs is the next guy because he balled out with 0 practice and 3 touchdowns. Meanwhile, my QB has a full week of practice and goes 4 for 7. A full week of practice, but goes 4 for 7. Frick out of here, bro. So we have that. Arizona, Kyler Murray. I don't think he's good. He's too short, but we'll see. And too temperamental. He's too light skinned. Mad moody. Deshaun Watson should be the guy, but he needs to probably go to a masseuse or something because this performance since he came to Cleveland has not been good. Stafford, I think his best days are behind him. Jordan Love is not good. Sam Howell is okay, I guess, like mid-tier. Mac Jones is not good. Justin Fields is not good. Derek Carr is not good. Geno Smith is Geno Smith. He's in the right system, but he's not a good QB. Lamar Jackson I think he's in tier 2.5. I wouldn't put him on the same level as Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, and Josh Allen. I would not put him in that same level. I'll put him as a tier 3 QB because he has all the weapons and all that stuff. I think he's in a run-first offense. He's like a college QB in my opinion. Tampa Bay has Baker Mayfield. You know, he is who he is. He's trash. CJ Stroud, boy, 470 is 470. Jesus. He's balling, bro. He is balling. I did not expect that, but he's balling, bro. So he's still a rookie, still early. Indy Richardson, he's out for the year, but he's a rookie. Carolina, I don't want to write off Bryce Young, but he ain't looking too good. And you know what's crazy? Let me tell you what's a mad thing. That Carolina traded their first round pick for the upcoming draft to Chicago in the Bryce Young trade. There's some GM deserve to be fired on the spot. Yo, I could be a GM, bro. Are you mad? So now it's possible that Chicago will have 2 of the first 5 picks in the draft again. So there goes that. Giants, you know how I feel about the QB. DJ's trash. Las Vegas has no QB because Garoppolo needs to go out there and just go to Vegas and go to crap table because his career is done. He's a backup QB. Dak, the Dak versus Lamar is a good conversation. I think they're levels. I think Dak and Lamar are levels to me in terms of QBs. Yeah, they're in the same room. So like that 2 point, I don't want to say as low as 3, but I guess like a lower 2, like 2.5. Jalen Hurts is please playing well. Josh Allen and Joe Burrow. And then we have Herbert in LA. The Jets have Zach Wilson, who's how could the Jets? Back to GM stealing money and why I could be a GM. How could the Jets decide, okay, I have 2 QBs. I have a 40-year-old QB who's older, who may get hurt, so I should have a solid backup QB, right? So what I'm going to do, the guy who I have all this money invested in, Zach Wilson, I don't know what he got left on his rookie deal, but I got all this money on the top 3 picks, so it's probably good money. It's probably good money that he is getting paid for as being the Jets QB. So 4 year got signed for a 4-year, $35.2 million fully guaranteed contract, including a $22.9 million signing bonus. I guess he's only do $9 million over the next 2 years. So I guess it's probably why they kept him. Because I'm thinking, why don't you just get that same money to White? Because if they had Mike White, the Jets will be in first place in the AFC East. If they had Mike White, they'll be in first place in the AFC East. I promise you. Because if they could be 4-4 with the trash Zach Wilson, gosh golly old schmuck called Zach Wilson, who does not deserve to be in the QB, to be in the NFL. He's the modern day version of that guy Rosen. Man, that guy Rosen from UCLA who got drafted early but was trash. That's this guy. He'll be a backup somewhere. Shanahan will probably try to get him in San Fran to rebuild him. knowing this guy. So I would have kept Mike White. It's about winning games. I would have given him 2 years, $10 million, because he didn't get signed for that much more. Let me see what Mike White's contract. Mike White contract, right? Let's see what this guy contract. 2 years, $8 million to back up the Dolphins are playing chess just to playing checkers. The Dolphins are like, yo, I got a fragile QB. Let me sign a solid backup so in case he comes in, there'll be no drop off. 2 years, $8 million. I would have traded and got rid of Zach Wilson. I would have sat there and kept Mike White, because either way, Aaron Rodgers is 40. 40 is 40. You know he was fragile. We didn't think this was going to happen. But you should have had a better QB and stop feeding us manure about how good Zach Wilson is. He's trash. Like, just because we're fans, we're stupid. He's trash. So they're stuck with that, man, and that's messed up. Because this year would have been a good year for the Jets to win. I'm telling you guys. I wanted the Giants to get him, but what do I know? We have this guy, Danny DeVito, backing us up right now. Pause. So we see that, and we look at the QBs. There ain't that many good QBs out there, my guy. Russell Wilson fell off. Jared Goff is not good. Brock Purdy's not good. Like, I can't deal with these system QBs that, they need their coordinator to do well. I can't deal with that. Trevor Lawrence to me is it's like tier 3. He's in the same level as like Kirk Cousins, and that type of tier. I think he's about to get into tier 2 if he becomes more consistent. I think he's been a bust so far too. All this hype. So I think we're gonna have a very interesting end of the season. I want to see what happened with the NFC East and the NFC and the Eagles. This gauntlet next week could be. Hold up, let me before I speak. Yep. Ooh. Next week could be the worst slate of football ever. Peep this. Thursday night, Carolina versus Chicago. Trash. No one's watching that. Sunday, 9:30 in Germany. Colts and Patriots. Trash. No one's going to get up early for that. 1 o'clock, you have Houston, Cincy. Don't think it's going to that may be fun because of CJ Stroud, but I don't think it's going to be a good game. That might be the best game in that window. New Orleans, Minnesota. Green Bay, Pittsburgh. Trash. Tennessee, Tampa Bay. Trash. Oh, we got San Fran at Jacksonville. That should be a good game. Cleveland and Baltimore should be a good game too because Cleveland's defense. Low key, Cleveland's playing well, very, very quietly. They're up there and they're playing well, and they're also contending for the AFC North. Peep these 4 o'clock games. Peep this: Atlanta, Arizona, trash. Detroit at Los Angeles, ugh. New York versus Dallas, ugh. Washington, Seattle, ugh. 8 o'clock game. I don't know why this was not flexed out. Jets and Raiders. Ugh. Next Monday night, Denver versus Buffalo. Frick out of here. That's the weekend. This Sunday I'm gonna stay at church late because there ain't nothing to do. Goodness gracious, that's bad. So so that's that. So next week we'll tune in, see what's going on. I'm not, guys, unless something miraculous happens. I'm not talking about the Giants. I'm going to get the same report on Giants every week. Giants suck. So unless something happens and it gets worse, there will not be, I'm boycotting, wasting my breath on the Giants. I'll continue to talk about the NFL, what goes on the other teams, other games, and talk about certain stuff. But the Giants I'm not going to waste too much on the Giants. I'm sorry, fans. Maybe next year, maybe in the offseason. We'll see what happens. Also, one thing I want to touch on before I let you guys go. LeBron James, the GOAT, said something last night that was kind of crazy. He said he would still be who he was, or still be the same level, I'm assuming the GOAT conversation, if he did not go to Miami. And you guys know I'm probably the biggest, or one of the biggest LeBron fans there is. I'm not the biggest, because it's one bull I saw on Twitter. Mandem had a LeBron James comforter on his bed. I'm not going to lay on a sheet of LeBron James. That's crazy, bro. I'm not doing that. Sorry. Nonetheless, I'm a huge LeBron James fan. But in this case, LeBron James is a damn idiot. If LeBron James did not go to Miami because Miami to him was like college. He went away to college where he, A, won a couple of titles, B, hung around D Wade, who was a winner, who taught him how to have a winning mentality. Remember that first year LeBron came with the NWO LeBron with the black mask, dunking on people, not talking to fans. He was a heel. He was like Hulk Hogan with the black beard and the blonde mustache. That was LeBron. That version of LeBron needs to was cultivated by Dwayne Wade. And I think that was the same year he was like, yo, listen, I don't care if I lose. Either way, my life don't change. I'm still rich. During the finals, that's the heel LeBron. Yep, that's the NWO LeBron. My favorite version of LeBron. So that's it's interesting that we sit here and trying to debate that time. He needed that time. He needed to go to college, away to college in Miami to grow up. So the LeBron that we see now, mentality wise and heart wise, will not be the same LeBron we have here if he stayed in Cleveland. Furthermore, on the court, LeBron was not winning if he basically stayed in Cleveland and kept Boobie Gibson and Anderson Varejao, Tadunas Ilgauskas, and those guys on his team. They're not winning nothing, bro. Because mind you, around that time, the Celtics were dominating. Orlando was on a come up with the White and them boys. Celtics, there was somebody else that was balling. And the Heat. Because Bosh chose to go to Miami with Dwayne Wade. LeBron wasn't beating them cats. So, and the Knicks, that was the only time the Knicks they had Carmelo, and Carmelo was with Ray Felton, Iman Shumpert and them guys, J.R. Smith. We were beating Cleveland because Carmelo gave LeBron problems. So LeBron on the court, you were not winning any. If you stayed at Cleveland, you were not winning any time, because don't forget, if you stayed in Cleveland, you've been making the playoffs every single year. You wouldn't have the first round pick. You wouldn't have the first pick to sign Kyrie. And I don't know if folks were joining Cleveland in free agency. So you wouldn't have won these titles, in my opinion. And if you didn't win those titles, you would be in the same combo with Kevin Durant and Charles Barkley. You'll be a guy with great numbers, all these great things, but has not had multiple championships. So, as much as I want to say he's a GOAT regardless, but I also have to acknowledge the course of his career and why it helped that discussion and why it allowed him to get to that point. So tell me what you think. Am I bugging out? Because LeBron, maybe I'm being too extra. Maybe I'm just being a little bit too critical, but I think LeBron is bugging out with this, man. He's not winning a title. He's the GOAT. He's a great player. He's the best of all time right now. But the reason why he's in the discussion, he's in that room with Magic, with Larry Bird, with Tim Duncan, with Kareem. The reason why he's on that Mount Rushmore, the reason why he's number one and Michael Jordan's number two, is because of those two rings he had at Miami. Because if not, he was not winning no rings. Don't know how the rest of his career would have ended up, but he would not have the ability to win those rings. He would have been a guy in Cleveland for like 12 years and then be like, yo, frick this. I'm going to join the Warriors and win the title. He would have been KD because he needed that to cement his legacy. So I think LeBron needs to chill, man. Need a reality check. He's my guy, but I think he needs that title to continue. So I hope you had enjoyed today's episode. Please share it with somebody. Please share it with your friends. Today was a somewhat potpourri, NFL and NBA podcast with a lot of good discussion, a lot of things being talked about. I pray that you enjoyed it. I pray that you are trusting God. You're focusing on God. Thank you for listening. God bless you. Peace.